Hi all, today I was wanting to share with you a little bit about the psychology of the ice bath. The idea of settling into icy cold water for the fun of it is a pretty odd one to say the least. Most of us certainly have a strong preference for the cozy, the comfortable and the warm. In fact, nature tends to flourish in the Goldilocks zone where it's not too hot, not too cold, but just right. And this begs the question, why on earth do it? In short, because it just happens to be exceedingly good for you, and not just physically, but also psychologically. We evolve and grow by being stretched, just as a muscle requires the tension of a gym workout in order to become buff. And we typically experience the greatest growth where the creative tension is also greatest, where the boundaries that contain and constrain us are pushed widest as we rise to the challenge of whatever it is that we are grappling with. In general, the greater the challenge, the greater the potential for growth, and commensurately, the greater the reward. Researchers at Stanford University conducted a study exploring the neurology and brainwave activity associated with the activation of grit and resolve, which are essential to a growth mindset. They discovered that when they placed electrodes on a part of the brain called the anterior midcingulate cortex, which is located at the front of the corpus callosum, people would invariably say things like, "Ooh, I see a storm coming, but I think I can go through it." Or, "It seems hard, but I'll do it anyway." Where it is located in the brain is significant, as a well-functioning anterior midcingulate cortex facilitates smooth passage from the creative center of our wonderful midbrain, where all of our original and creative thinking is derived, and the frontal lobe, which is our center of decision-making, informing the words we speak and the actions we undertake. Grit and resolve are a function of courage, and we require courage to dispel fear. Think about the times when you've had to do something that frightened you, and yet you did it anyway and prevailed. What did it feel like afterwards? Usually pretty damn good, as we get the joyful buzz of dopamine and endorphin release. Physiologically, habits create an imprint on our neurology as we create more and more synaptic connections between pairs of neurons. It's the equivalent of turning a barely visible path that we stumble along through the woods into a veritable highway as we venture along it many times. Over time, that well-trodden path becomes a track and then a lane, before ultimately becoming a road with one lane then two. When we make it a habit to do hard things, we build courage into the default programming network of our mind, from where we find it increasingly easier to rise to life's challenges. Being up for the challenge becomes a habit of the mind as we trust and look forward, in fact, to the neurochemical payoff that comes from the completion of such challenges. Ice bathing is one of the most powerful things that we can do to build an inner strength and resolve, because no matter how often you do it, it's always a challenge. Just ask the regulars at Genki, our little wellness studio in Grey Lynn. The joy is not so much in the experience of settling into icy cold water, but in the joy of being able to say, "Yes, I did it." If you are someone prone to procrastination, analysis paralysis, feelings of anxiety, and self-doubt, and struggle with taking decisive action even when you know that it makes sense to take the plunge, so to speak, then some regular ice bath plunging may be just what the doctor ordered for you.